Welcome back to Three Trials Barbecue. We're going to go ahead and start injecting this brisket to fight the dryness that we might get from the unwrapped brisket process. Okay, we don't want too much tallow on this, so we're going to clean this off just a tad. I'm going to leave a little bit so we can have some sort of a binder. So we talked about how this is a choice, how we injected it to try to make it juicy. Because I'm running it exposed all night, we're not wrapping. I want it to not dry out. Today's seasoning is going to be something that I decided to put together myself. And kudos to JIRBY. He was the one that started with the Lowry seasoned salt. Today what I have is coarse black pepper, kosher salt, Lowry's, and I'm going to add some garlic powder. Eventually, we'll venture off into other places with other seasonings, but today we're going to keep it simple with the 4 process here. So we're going to start off with a medium to heavy coat of pepper. We're then going to do a coat of kosher salt. And that's also going to be about a medium coat. Don't be scared. The meat can take the rub. So one thing I learned from watching these guys with the rubs is that the coarse pepper and the kosher salt, they're pretty thick. They tend to not spread evenly when you put them in a rub shaker. So we're going to make a nice coat of Lowry seasoned salt. I'm going to pat it down. And you could see the process. The pepper took the first base layer, the salt took the second, and then the seasoned salt kind of fill in the gaps. Well, now we're coming in with a light coat of this garlic powder. And that's going to top it off for us. I'm going to give it a couple minutes, let this kind of sweat, and then we'll flip it over and do the meat side. It's already moist on top, so I'm just going to pat it down before I flip it over. I'm just going to drop a little bit on there. Remember, we don't want too much. We just need enough for a binder. All right, so the first pass, again, we're going to do the coarse black pepper. Nice layer of that. Look at the sides a little bit. We'll do some kosher salt. Don't be stingy with it. It can take it. Do the sides a little bit. pat it down. And then we'll go to the smaller grain rubs, which is the Lowry's seasoned salt. And then our finishing touch, we'll do the garlic powder. So with that being said, let's go outside and we're going to throw this on at 200 overnight. And all we're going to do is throw a probe in it and monitor it for at least 12 to 14 hours. All right, gang, we're back. We're going to go ahead and throw this brisket in. So we're putting it fat side down. All the heat's going to come from the bottom. And I want to protect it because it's going unwrapped the whole time. So we're going to go 200. We're going to go ahead and put the smoke tube and let it add some smoke. And we'll see you guys in the morning. All right, everyone, it's 14 hours later. At 12 hours, I had to increase the temperature to 225. I was stuck in the stall for about 3 hours. I'm finally getting there. I'm at 163 internal. This is the first time I've opened it. The bark has set. I'm gonna go ahead and spritz it. I'm just gonna be using water. We're gonna let this keep going, and we'll see you guys back in a little bit. 18 hours later. Let's take a look at this brisket. It's been going unwrapped all night. And now we got a couple potatoes in there. But check it out. At the 16th hour, I turned it up to 275. Oh, that went right in. So it's still a little stiff. Well, it's crazy because some areas is probe tender, but I feel a little bit of resistance on the bottom, and that may be because of the heat, but that's no resistance there. So we're at 200 on the point, 195 on the flat, 210, 212. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. I'm gonna go ahead and let it get to room temperature and let it rest. All right, It's been resting for 3 hours. Let's go ahead and unwrap this. Now, this is the only time I wrapped it was for the rest. I could tell you guys that it's got definitely a good amount of bark, but it's been the longest brisket I have ever cooked. So let's go ahead and get in here. And I've been resting this in my oven at 170. It's actually not too bad. You know, I was expecting this to be super dry. The meat doesn't look that juicy, but we're gonna give it a shot here. So definitely bending this flat. Let's give this a taste. Definitely on the drier side, at least the flat. And remember, I actually injected it with tallow. So give you guys a look. Nice smoke ring. I mean, the point looks okay. Still juicy. Let me go ahead and slice this up. Oh, that's a thick cut. Go ahead and give this point a taste. You know, part of 3 Trials Barbecue is giving everything a trial. This one, probably my least favorite brisket. It's on the dry side for sure. It does have a crust or bark, but it took the longest and it didn't live it up to its potential. Now, I'm not sure if that was just because it's a choice, but this has been one of the driest briskets I have ever made. Nonetheless, it's still good enough to eat. And hey, if I could get a prime, I'm definitely going for it. Definitely wrapping any type of brisket. Maybe I'll do the Texas crutch next, but I figured why not give this a trial and do a naked, unwrapped brisket and see what happens. Now, another thing I do want to mention is I could taste a little bit of that smoke tube. And let me tell you, I may just stick with half to 3/4 of that pellet tube. There's no need for it. I've had briskets better without smoke tubes, and in this case, you could taste it a little bit. But nonetheless, if you haven't hit the likes or subscribed, please do, and we'll see you guys on the next one.